Imagine, just for a second, that you're running an e-commerce store.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You've got your product line totally dialed in, the website looks fantastic, and, your ad spend is finally driving real traffic.
That's the dream, right? Everything's clicking.
Exactly. But then, quietly, things start to slip. Your conversion rate just kind of drops.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Those reliable repeat purchases, they just dry up. And by the time you finally look at the metrics and realize why it's happening well, the damage is already done.
It's too late.
It's way too late to save those customers. So you're just left staring at this massive spreadsheet of customer feedback. It's like this digital graveyard, and you're just wondering where it all went wrong.
It is a terrifying scenario. And frankly, it's one that plays out like every single day for small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
Because you end up sitting on mountains of this qualitative data, right?
Yep.
Emails, reviews, random comments on social media, but you have zero actual actionable insights.
Because you just don't have the time to read it all.
Exactly. You physically cannot process it.
Which is actually the perfect launchpad for today's deep dive. We are looking at a platform called Gerev AI. And the core promise they're making in the source material we're looking at today is pretty massive.
It really is.
They claim to have built a tool that lets you see what your customers really think in just 10 seconds.
Wow. 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds to take all that noise, that entire spreadsheet graveyard we just talked about, and turn it into clear intelligence.
It's an incredibly bold claim,
Yeah.
especially when you look closely at who they're actually targeting with this software.
Right. I noticed that contradiction right away, because if you scroll down and read the fine print in their footer,
Yeah.
Gerev AI describes itself as being built for, quote, enterprise teams.
Right.
But the massive headline right at the top of the page explicitly says it's built for small teams without a dedicated customer experience or CX department.
It's a very deliberate positioning.
And they're very specifically carving out a space in the MENA region, too, like the Middle East and North Africa e-commerce market.
Which tells us a lot about the current state of AI software, honestly. We're looking at legitimate enterprise-grade capabilities here.
Right.
Specifically things like, advanced sentiment analysis and predictive churn modeling. But it's being packaged up and priced for these lean, scrappy startups who just don't have 50 people sitting in a call center.
Let's unpack the actual problem those small teams face first. Because, if you've ever tried to scale a small business, your biggest blind spot usually isn't the loud, angry customer.
Oh, definitely not. You always notice the person who sends the 5-paragraph, all-caps email.
Right, they make sure you see it. The real danger is what the source material calls the silent killers hiding in the comments.
The silent killers are those subtle friction points. If you don't have a dedicated CX department who is actually reading the dozens or maybe hundreds of reviews you get across all these different platforms every week.
Nobody usually.
Right.
Or maybe the founder is just skimming them late at night.
Right. Or you've got an overworked marketing manager trying to categorize them in a spreadsheet on a Friday afternoon.
And the source makes a really good argument here. It says that if you're relying on a human being to manually read and mentally categorize all those messy, unstructured reviews, you've already lost the game.
You absolutely have.
Because by the time a human mind spots a genuine pattern of complaints, your churn rate, which is, the rate at which customers permanently abandon your business, it's already spiked.
Human beings are just not designed to process raw, unstructured text data at that scale. We can't just immediately spot statistical trend lines by reading 100 paragraphs.
We're too emotional for that.
Exactly. We get totally distracted by the outlier. You focus all your energy on that one completely unhinged, angry review, right? And you completely miss the 20 mild 3-star reviews that are all subtly complaining about the exact same glitch in the checkout process.
So how does Gerev's system actually solve that? Because the source mentions their churn predictor feature, which claims to spot these patterns before they become trends. But how does an AI look at a bunch of messy, misspelled reviews and actually do that?
So it relies on natural language processing, or NLP.
Okay.
When a human reads a review that says, cart kept glitching, gave up, we instantly understand the sentiment, but older software, it would just look for keywords like glitch.
Like a basic search function.
Exactly. But NLP actually understands the semantic meaning and the context of the sentence. It can take all that unstructured, messy human venting and structure it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it tags the underlying emotion, identifies the specific feature being mentioned, so in this case, the shopping cart, and then it translates all of that into a hard quantitative data point.
So it literally turns feelings into math.
It really does.
The source material actually shows a dashboard with some specific examples of this in action, which I thought was super helpful. Like, there's a user, hashtag 829twum, who the system flagged as a high churn risk because the AI parsed the phrase billing issues twice now.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, user, hashtag 4419, who's flagged for experiencing pricing change confusion.
Those two users are just perfect examples of what business strategists call leading indicators versus lagging indicators.
Break that down for us.
Sure, so a lagging indicator is your monthly revenue dropping. The bad event already happened.
Right. It's in the past.
Exactly. A leading indicator, though, is user hashtag 4419 being slightly confused by a pricing change today. It's a signal of future behavior.
I look at it kind of like a digital smoke detector for your customer relationships. Like, it alerts you to a smoldering issue, like widespread pricing confusion before the whole house burns down and everyone leaves.
That's a great way to put it.
But looking at that user hashtag 4419 example, I do have a theory I want to run by you.
Go for it.
If the AI flags a user for pricing change confusion, the tool isn't really about saving that specific customer who is already frustrated, right? Like, the real structural value is purely in preventing the next 10 customers from hitting that same roadblock and leaving.
That is the crucial distinction to make. I mean, it's certainly a bit of both, but you're absolutely right that the structural value is preventing that cascade.
Because that one user might be a lost cause.
Maybe. But think about the mechanics of it. If user hashtag 4419 is confused, they might still power through the friction, complete the purchase, but leave a slightly annoyed comment about it.
Right.
A human founder might read that and think, well, whatever, their credit card cleared, so it's no big deal.
Like soap and money.
Right. But the NLP model reads it, aggregates it with like 3 other similar comments from that week, and throws up a flag saying, warning, your UI is causing friction.
Because for every one person who actually bothers to leave a comment about being confused, there are probably, 100 who just quietly abandon their carts without saying a single word.
Precisely the point.
Yeah.
By fixing the pricing page based on that one leading indicator,
Yeah.
you are removing the invisible roadblock for the 1,000 people behind them.
Okay, but spotting the smoke doesn't put out the fire. Knowing you have a problem is great, but if it's just you and a co-founder running the whole show, you still don't have the manpower to manually manage the fallout. How does the system actually bridge that gap between finding the issue and fixing it?
Well, that gap is addressed by consolidating the data. Gerev brings all these fragmented signals into what they call their every signal, one screen dashboard.
And looking at the details from the source, I mean, this screen does not pull its punches.
I know.
It tracks a live sentiment score. And the example they provide in the source shows a live score sitting at 13%, updated just now, across 200 recent reviews. I gotta say, seeing a 13% positive sentiment score in real time on your dashboard has to be an absolute gut punch for a business owner.
Oh, it's brutal. It's totally brutal, but it's a necessary brutality. In e-commerce, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is bankruptcy.
Wow, yeah, that's...
You need to see that 13%. But more importantly, the dashboard doesn't just give you a terrible grade and leave you hanging. Alongside that live score, they have a top complaint tracker.
Yep.
And the example provided shows that shipping delays were mentioned in 42% of negative reviews this week.
That level of specificity is what makes it actionable, right? It's not just this vague, oh, people are mad at us. It's 42% of your negative sentiment is driven by this one specific logistical failure.
Exactly. And once you have that specific diagnosis, the platform transitions from analysis to action. And this is where we get into the automated reply feature.
Okay, so the source makes a really compelling argument here. It states that having a human being copy and paste, "We're sorry for the inconvenience," 200 times a day is a massive waste of your most expensive resource, which is time.
Absolutely.
So Gerev's AI is designed to draft personalized, context-aware responses that actually attempt to solve the problems, and they claim this saves teams 10 or more hours per week.
Huge time saver.
But I have to throw a flag on the play here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I hate robotic automated apologies. We've all been on the receiving end of them, right?
Oh, for sure.
If a customer is already furious that their shipping is delayed, couldn't an AI-generated response, no matter how context-aware they claim it, is backfired terribly and just alienate that customer even further?
It is a totally valid fear.
Mm.
But we really have to distinguish between the generations of customer service tech here, because I think you're picturing the old rules-based chatbots.
Yeah, the really dumb ones.
Right. The archaic press 1 for shipping, press 2 for billing bots that literally just spit out a pre-written, rigid template, regardless of what you say.
Yes, the ones that trap you in a loop and make you want to throw your laptop out the window.
Exactly. But a context-aware generative AI operates in a completely different mechanical level. It doesn't use templates at all.
Really?
Yeah. If the NLP model knows the customer's sentiment is highly negative, and it extracted the specific issue, say a 2-day shipping delay on a specific product line, it doesn't just output, sorry for the inconvenience.
What does it do?
It dynamically drafts a response that acknowledges the specific failure, validates their specific frustration, and offers a tailored resolution based on the context.
So it's synthesizing a completely unique apology based on the variables of that one complaint.
Exactly. And here is the most important part. It doesn't have to send it automatically.
Oh, okay.
The AI does all the heavy lifting of drafting this nuanced, empathetic-sounding response based on the exact parameters, and then it just queues it up.
Yeah.
The human operator just has to review it, maybe tweak a word or two, and click approve.
I actually really like that framing. It's less like having a robot blindly talking to your customers, and it's more like having a highly efficient chief of staff drafting your correspondence for you to sign off on.
That's a perfect analogy.
It reduces the cognitive load so the small team can actually go, call the logistics company and fix the shipping delay rather than spending their whole afternoon typing out apologies for it.
It frees up your human capital for complex problem solving.
Okay, so using the tool to fix your own reviews and put out fires is playing defense. But what really jumped out at me from the source material is how it allows these small teams to play offense.
Right.
It lets you look outward at the broader market.
The competitive espionage features.
Yes. The source details a feature that scans the public reviews of your competitors to reveal exactly what their unhappy users hate.
It's so smart.
The material literally calls this a blueprint for knowing what features to build next to win over those frustrated customers. I look at that as kind of like a treasure map drawn by your rival's angry customers.
That is a phenomenal way to conceptualize it. Think about how completely that flips the paradigm for product development.
Right.
Traditionally, businesses do market research by just guessing what people might want, or by running really expensive, super slow focus groups.
Or just copying whatever the biggest competitor is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Which often means you're just copying their mistakes. With this feature, the mechanism is entirely different. The AI is scraping public data sources like Google Maps reviews or Trustpilot filtering for your competitors' negative reviews, using that same natural language processing we talked about earlier and aggregating their pain points.
It's wild.
You're letting your competitor make the mistakes, aggregating the negative sentiment from those mistakes, and then you just build the solution they feel to provide.
So, if your competitors' customers are constantly leaving 2-star reviews complaining about a really clunky mobile checkout process, your AI aggregates that unstructured venting, flags it as a major opportunity, and suddenly you know exactly where to allocate your limited development budget this quarter.
You build the frictionless mobile checkout, and then you immediately market it directly to that specific pain point in the market.
That's powerful.
It is. But for this whole ecosystem to work, the tool has to be able to ingest data from the right places.
Right, the integrations. And the source lists that Gerev syncs with all the global giants you would expect, right? Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, Google Maps, Trustpilot.
Usual sense.
Yes. But alongside those massive names, there are 2 specific integrations that really stand out. Sala and Zid.
Yes.
I noticed they prioritize Sala and Zid right alongside Shopify. And to me, that signals they aren't treating the Middle East as an afterthought or secondary market. They're actually embedding into the local plumbing.
Yep.
So what does that specific mix of integrations tell us about the unique landscape of MENA e-commerce? How does that change their market appeal?
Well, it changes everything about their market penetration strategy, honestly. If you look at the MENA region, the Middle East, and North Africa, you are looking at one of the fastest growing e-commerce markets in the entire world right now.
It's exploding.
But it is not a monolithic market that just blindly adopts Western software platforms right out of the box.
Okay.
Solid and Zid are massive native e-commerce enablement platforms based in Saudi Arabia. They're deeply tailored to local merchants. They integrate with local payment gateways that a Western platform might not even support.
Oh, that makes sense.
And they connect with local last-mile logistics networks and delivery apps, which are crucial in regions where, traditional postal addresses might be a little less standardized.
So a generic Shopify setup might actually struggle to serve a merchant in Riyadh effectively compared to Sala.
because the infrastructure is totally different. So by building native direct integrations for Sala and Zid, Gerev isn't just like translating their user interface into Arabic and calling it a localization strategy.
Right. It goes way deeper than that.
They are embedding themselves into the actual infrastructure that powers the region's commerce. It signals to merchants in Riyadh or Dubai that this tool truly understands their specific tech stack.
Yeah.
If you want to capture the meta market, you have to play nice with the platforms that actually run the meta market.
And by pulling data from those local platforms and combining it with global review sites like Google Maps, they give these regional merchants a complete 360-degree view of their reputation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have this incredibly powerful tool. It's using NLP to turn feelings into data. It's predicting churn. It's analyzing competitor reviews to hand you a product roadmap. It's drafting AI apologies, and it's plugging into all your regional sales channels.
It's doing a lot.
Which logically brings us to the final and perhaps most critical reality check for any business owner listening. What happens to all this data, and what is this kind of power going to cost?
Yeah, data security is definitely the elephant in the room with literally any AI implementation right now.
The source material outlines their security protocols pretty thoroughly. They say they use bank-grade AES 256 encryption for data storage. They're SSE2 Type 2 and GDPR ready. But, I mean, we hear those acronyms thrown around a lot. What does that actually mean for the average user?
Let's break the jargon down a bit. AES 256 encryption is essentially the cryptographic gold standard. It means your data is locked in a digital vault that would take current supercomputers millions of years to crack.
Okay, so it's not getting hacked anytime soon.
Right. And SOC2 Type 2 is critical. It doesn't just mean they filled out some security questionnaire and promised to be good guys.
Right.
Type 2 means a third-party auditor actually monitored their servers and operational practices over an extended period of time, usually months, to prove mathematically that they are not leaking your data or mishandling it.
Okay, that builds a lot of trust. But the most crucial line in the entire document for me was this one. Quote, "Unlike other AI tools, we never use your customer data or reviews to train our global models. Your intelligence remains yours."
That single sentence is a massive differentiator in today's software landscape.
Because right now there's a very real fear, especially among enterprise IT departments, that if you plug your proprietary business data into a generic AI, you are basically donating your hard-earned insights to make the global model smarter for everyone else.
It is the ultimate horror story of modern business. Imagine you aggregate all your customer feedback, you figure out your competitors' weaknesses, you paste all that brilliant strategy into a public AI tool to organize it,
Yeah.
and you inadvertently teach the AI exactly how your business works. The next day, your biggest competitor prompts that same AI for a market strategy, and it spits your proprietary blueprint right back out to them.
Oh man, you definitely do not want the treasure map you just found to be published for the whole world to see.
Exactly.
By siloing the data and explicitly promising not to use it for global model training, Gerev eliminates that threat entirely. Which brings me back to the pricing and that contradiction we noticed at the very beginning of the deep dive.
Yeah.
The enterprise capabilities versus the small team targeting.
Right.
Let's look at the pricing tiers they offer. They boast a totally frictionless onboarding process, a 60-second setup, and a free analysis with no credit card or sign-up required just to see it work.
Which is very rare for enterprise tools.
Right. From there, the base starter tier is just $19 a month. That gets you 100 AI analyses, basic reports, and one integration. Then there's the growth tier, which they list as their most popular. That's $49 a month. It bumps you to 1,000 analyses and unlocks the churn prediction engine and all those regional integrations we just talked about.
Yep.
Finally, the business tier is $129 a month for unlimited analyses, API access, and custom branding. But I have to ask, looking at the $19 entry point and the no sign-up free trial, does this feel like a tool genuinely built to democratize AI for the little guy? Or is it just an enterprise tool masquerading as a startup solution? How are they offering this kind of computing power for the price of a streaming subscription without bleeding money?
Well, it's a textbook and highly effective software-as-a-service growth strategy.
Okay, tell me more.
Under the hood, as we've discussed, it absolutely is an enterprise-grade tool. The semantic NLP analysis, the predictive churn modeling, the SOC2 Type 2 compliance that is heavy, expensive enterprise tech. But by pricing the entry point at $19 a month and making the onboarding take 60 seconds with zero commitment, they're applying a consumer-grade growth model to an enterprise product.
So get them in the door while they're small, reduce all the friction, and prove the value immediately.
Precisely. They want that two-person e-commerce team in Saudi Arabia building on Salah to start using it on the $19 plan.
Mm.
As that startup grows into a medium-sized business and their review volume naturally increases, they have to upgrade to the $49 plan to get the churn prediction.
Right.
By the time they are a massive company handling thousands of orders a day, they're fully locked into the Gerev ecosystem on the $120 plan. So it democratizes access for the little guy today, sure, but it secures Gerev's future recurring revenue by capturing these businesses long before they can afford to build out a traditional CX department.
That's incredibly smart. So synthesizing everything we've explored today, Gerev AI really represents a fundamental shift in how businesses are going to handle their reputation and their product development moving forward.
It does.
It takes review management from being a reactive, soul-crushing chore, you know, reading angry emails and copy-pasting apologies in a spreadsheet graveyard, and turns it into a proactive, data-driven strategy.
It is the physical transition from lagging indicators to leading indicators.
Mm.
You're no longer just reacting to the customers who already left and took their money with them.
Right. It's too late for them.
You're using sentiment analysis and churn prediction to identify and save the ones who are only just starting to think about leaving. And simultaneously, you're weaponizing your competitors' unhappy customers to figure out exactly what you should build next.
It really changes how you look at a comment section forever. And the real takeaway here for you listening to this is that whether you are currently scaling an e-commerce brand yourself, or you're just trying to understand the broader mechanics of where customer service is heading, the way businesses process human feedback is fundamentally changing.
Absolutely.
The era of manual apologies and spreadsheet categorization is ending. The era of automated predictive intelligence is already here.
And the fact that tools like this are specifically targeting high-growth regions like MENA with deep localized integrations for platforms like Salah and Zid proves that this isn't just some isolated Silicon Valley trend.
Right.
The integration of AI into the underlying infrastructure of commerce is a global shift.
It really is. But as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to mull over on your own.
Let's hear it.
Throughout this deep dive, we talked extensively about how businesses are using AI to analyze complaints and draft these perfectly personalized, context-aware, empathetic responses to angry reviews.
Right, the AI chief of staff.
Exactly. But if you look at the consumer side of the market, we are simultaneously seeing AI tools being built to help everyday users draft perfectly worded, highly effective complaint emails and negative reviews.
Oh,
Yeah. So are we rapidly approaching a future where AI customer bots are the ones generating the reviews and AI management bots are the ones parsing the sentiment and responding to them?
It's an endless loop.
And if we reach that point, what happens when we completely remove raw human emotion from the customer experience? It really makes you wonder. If your customers are quietly leaving and the AI is quietly handling the fallout, whose store is it anyway? Until